Welcome back. You're watching Morning Express on KTN with me, Michelle Ngele. It is now time for The Way It Is, and today we expect the much publicized presidential running mate debate to take place. Well, several unconfirmed reports show that Jubilee's William Ruto may not participate after all, or will he? Well, another national issue that we'd like to put straight today is the ballot papers row. Do we have elections on the 8th of August? Well, our able panel of Senator Beatrice Selachi, Dr. James Nyoro, who is the running mate to Ferdinand Waititu in the Kiambu gubernatorial race. We also have Wavinya Ndeti's running mate, Peter Wadhuki, and Kajiado County Deputy Governor Paul Olentiato, who will help us get answers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Morning Express and welcome to The Way It Is.
Thank you.
All right, so let's begin with you, Senator Elachi. Ladies first, and we'll begin with the presidential running mate debate, or, you know, is it there or not? Your thoughts, first of all, on the entire organization, because there's been a lot of back and forth with the candidates saying they've not received any communication. The organizers say they communicated well in time. What could be going on here?
Well, first of all, I think, to be very candid, and maybe it's because of two issues, and I think it was also in the presidential debate when they were trying to say we received communication, we didn't. For me, I look at it and ask myself, when the organizers were organizing, did we have teams from the offices of each deputy presidents who are there? And if yes, then I think it is fair enough to the organizers and to them to sit down and agree. And if there's, for example, I know my deputy president will be busy. He's in Mombasa already. But he's one gentleman that I respect a lot, because until the time comes and you don't see him is when you can say the deputy president is not coming.
He has sent the Kikuyu member of parliament to represent him in the running mate debate. There's been a lot of criticism towards that, with many saying it seemingly could be disrespectful to his electorate, or to the electorate rather.
I wouldn't say disrespectful. Disrespectful would be I keep quiet and I don't even give in. It is now to the organizers to feel, do you need the MP of Kikuyu to represent? Is it okay? And if not, I believe the organizers will feel it's for them to say that. But I think he gave his apologies, and we have to respect that. I don't think this is the only debate. I hope there's another debate where they can come in the last debate and debate.
Right, I mean, this is the only one for the presidential running mates. Peter, your thoughts on this? And considering that this would be the first of its kind in this part of Africa.
Thank you very much for inviting me this morning. But one thing I would want to say is that this election will not be won on a platform of possibly debates, but how you again connecting as a candidate with the electorate, with the people. And I think that takes priority, because again, if you are busy campaigning and interacting with the electorate, of course, others can be done. But number two, my own, of course, the deputy president, Kalonzo, of course, would have made it. He can't do it alone. Yeah, if the other one is not. I mean,
there is other running mates who are coming. Yeah, remember, we have about 8 running mates.
Yeah, but again, what I'm saying is that if Ruto is unable to attend for whatever reasons, then again, he should be able to explain that it's very unfair for him to send a member of parliament to a running mate debate. I don't understand.
Would it be enough reason for Kalonzo Musyoka not to attend because Deputy President William Ruto is not attending? William Ruto has given his reason. He is busy at the coastal region.
No, of course he has his own schedules. I don't know where they have also contacted him also. But again, what I've said is that I don't think debates are priority at a time like this. We have about 2 weeks to go to an election. Of course, there are a number of issues, and I don't think that is really something to I mean, we can't read too much out of this.
I don't know what you make of this, Dr. Nyoro. I mean, the Deputy President has made it clear that he is not attending this debate. Is that sufficient evidence? I mean, reason for the other running mates to decide not to come?
I think, first of all, let's agree that Kenya is an emerging democracy. And we are doing things in the region that other countries have not managed to do, including presidential debates, even 2013. we had an excellent presidential debate. But let us also agree that such debates require a lot of planning. If you followed the US elections debate, it included actually agreeing on who is going to be in the panel, which kind of areas they are going to cover. You don't have to be a coach on the questions. It requires a lot of planning for people to appear in public and articulate their policies and manifestos and what they have done and not. I don't think there has been a lot of that planning. What I have seen is a lot of preparation at Catholic University and a few people talking here and there. I think the planning should have been all-inclusive, considering the tight calendar that everybody is operating on. I think for me that is most important. The second thing, I know very well that the Deputy President, Honorable William Ruto, is a good debater. I don't think you shy away from talking about issues. These are the same issues, by the way, that he'll be talking about today in his campaign team. So it's not so much about I fear or I'm not confident. It's so much about what are you intending to achieve? How have you prepared for this? What is the expected outcome? Because I'll tell you, politics is not science. Politics is about if I go there, how many votes, additional votes, am I going to win? If I know I will not win a vote, why would I bother? And the point of whether the Deputy President has sent Honorable my Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, or not, is neither here nor there. I think the point really is it was supposed to be a presidential debate. If the caliber of people that otherwise are coming is that category, then you send somebody of that caliber. It's not really a question of whether Deputy President is
going or not. But I mean, even after that, the organizers had a rebuttal and they said nobody who is not a running mate will make it into the presidential debate. I mean, will make it into the podium. So that might mean the representatives.
But again, Michelle, you need to read politics. I said again, is not science. I know the Deputy President is very clear on the rules on who appears in the Deputy President's debate. And this aspect of, our said Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah should send some signals to the people who are organizing this. I mean, it's a political game.
Right. I don't know what you read into this poll, especially into the politics that Dr. Nyoro is talking about. Is it a non-issue that the Deputy President has sent a member of Parliament to represent him, that the opposition running mate Kalonzo Musyoka now says he will not go because the Deputy President is not coming? Is this really an issue?
Sorry, let me put it right. Sorry. Kalonzo is not attending not because Ruto is not. All that I think we said is that he has his own schedule, and I'm sure the best thing you could do is to go to say he's not coming or give his apology. But what I'm saying is that the fairest thing you can do is to give an apology, but you can't send a representative, and I think that's the point. Yes, Kalonzo can do that.
For me, first, we are actually arguing when we lack information. We don't have full information on what has been going on behind the skin, and we think we will give everybody the doubt, the benefit of doubt, that there is a reason why they can't come to that debate. But the most important thing is the value of time in this critical period. One, because we can see a very stiff competition now. Who is going to be the next president for this country? And everybody is trying to hunt for votes. And if you see that there is no value for votes in this particular issue, you don't turn up, because it will not help you. And you can see what is the cost-benefit analysis in terms of vote. If I'm going to hand votes in Mombasa, and I come here and debate just because I want the whole country to hear, and you don't see the value for it. But what I don't agree is you can't send somebody else.
Why not? That is the question
one reason is when they say deputy running mate, it must be a running mate. Because one, you have also to respect the people who are organizing it. And it is better to tell them that I don't see the value of coming in there, and therefore I don't attend at all. And I think that is very clear. And for somebody to say I don't have time, and looking at our schedule, even for us coming here, It's really, we have to look at the benefit of it.
Dr. Nyora, maybe just as we wind up with this and move on to something else, what message does it send that the Deputy President sent the Kikuyu Member of Parliament, Kimani Ichung'wah, to represent him?
First of all, I don't know. I have no information at all that the Deputy President has sent Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah. If the Deputy President has sent Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, my interpretation of that is very clear. The Jubilee government has been very inclusive. The issues of where Jubilee government has come from and what they've done is almost clear to everybody who is a Jubilee member. And Kimani Ichung'wah has been very articulate on issues to do with Jubilee government. In terms of manifesto, its preparation has been very inclusive. So Kimani Ichung'wah will be able to articulate what Jubilee is going to do. So first, I want to make it very clear. I don't know. I am not privy to the information that Kimani Ichung'wah has been sent. But even if he is sent, I think he has enough information to allow the Deputy President to continue with the campaign. He has enough information to hammer in this debate.
Right, and actually your thoughts on this, especially just basing from what he says, that any Jubilee member would be privy to the issues in the manifesto. Does that mean then we can have an MCA go out and campaign for a gubernatorial candidate?
Well, first of all, I want the media to give me the message from the Deputy President. If there's none, let us not start that propaganda. But I want to see the message, because the Deputy President is the Deputy President of Kenya. He cannot just send. He will send a message which the media will upload for us with the Deputy President's signature. From there, we can discuss.
All right. Finally, Peter.
I think what is coming out is, of course, mark of arrogance. What is coming out, what public is reading, is arrogance in it, because the only fair thing is to give an apology, which is anyone would understand, but you can't send a representative.
All right, and of course, like Senator Elachi here says, this is
Michelle,
something that
I still repeat, because I saw it on the newspaper. My name was also there. The Deputy President never asked me. So where did the media even get the whole story is not right, because there's no way. And that's why I'm saying let us not drag the Deputy President's name. If he really sent Kimani Ichung'wah, he would have sent the statement to the studios and say, I now send this. And definitely he cannot do that. He's not as arrogant as we are thinking, and he's not as crazy as we think. If he really wanted, he would have sent a statement.
Right, and of course, we'll be waiting for clearer information to come up, because the debate is scheduled for tonight. But even as we do that, this is a precursor to the general elections. And the question is, are we going to have an election? IEBC is still in court with regard to the presidential ballot printing tender. And as it is, there was supposed, according to IEBC timelines, to start printing the presidential ballot papers tomorrow. That is the 18th of July. That is just one day away. They are still in court. Let me begin with you once again, Senator Elachi. Are we looking at a situation where we might have to settle for Al Ghurair?
Well, first of all, I think that's why the courts never denied IEBC to use Al Ghurair. But it's also up to us Kenyans. I think time has come as Kenyans. First of all, we have put IEBC into an awkward situation where this is just a new IEBC. A few months ago, we handed over to them, and they have not had that last time that the other IEBC members had, the commissioners had to prepare. Therefore, they have come in and they pick on what has been prepared. We have not given them even one day an opportunity to just give them a month to work and tell us as Kenyans, we have worked, this is where we are. We have worked, this is the loopholes we have seen. They have tried their best. And for me, I want to ask Kenyans, all of us, both sides, are we willing to see ourselves go to elections? Because it's a ballot paper that somebody has to wake up in the morning and tick. Nobody. There's no science that will tick. It is a human being, a Kenyan who walks into...
But let's focus, Senator Elachi, on the credibility and the perception that is out there among the electorate, because there's already a perception about Al Ghurair being the firm printing these very same ballot papers. So
a perception that Kenyans have created because Al Ghurair did not just come yesterday. They have been with IEBC for the last 2 years. All the by-elections we have done, where Jubilee, most of them lost, were done by Al Ghurair, and nobody complained at that time. Now, if we are complaining now, and we feel very comfortable that the 5 ballot papers are okay being done by Al Gore, but the presidential, we have a problem, then we have a big problem as Kenyans, because this creation we have created, that it is only in the presidency that we have every problem. I think Kenyans, we have to wake up from that.
As it is, of course, IEBC is in court looking for stay orders for that decision that was given by the High Court. But Peter, NASA is also in court in a counter appeal because let's face the ruling that was given by the court. Now, while the court ruled that the tender has to be tendered afresh because IEBC did not follow certain guidelines that were provided, the court found that there was no evidence whatsoever linking the executive, President Uhuru Kenyatta, to directors of the firm Al Gore, meaning that Al Gore is still one of the potential firms, even in the fresh tendering process. So should that be the decision that the court settles on, will we have an election from the opposition side?
Yes, we should have elections. Of course, the dates are set, but it's very unfortunate on the part of IEBC at a time like this for them to be busy trying to move from court and wanting to argue on issues. Public confidence is very critical in any electioneering process. And if that lacks right from the word go, then obviously you are subjecting yourself into a lot of difficulties. If I were IEBC, what they would be busy doing is looking for an alternative. If it's printing ballot paper, it's not a rocket science. And therefore you can print that given the time. They should be busy now trying to think on how to print and leave this politics. I think IEBC must try to stay above board.
So where the papers are printed is not an issue?
It's not the issue here is, why is it that they're insisting on this particular Dubai-based printer? Well, why is it that, why only that particular one at a time like this? If I were IEBC, I'll look for an alternative. Is
it in order for NASA flag bearer Raila Odinga to say he will not accept the results, or he will only accept the results if the ballot printing papers are not printed in Dubai?
But it's about public confidence. It's not about him as Raila. It's about Kenyans. And that's why we are saying it's not him. It's about what Kenyans and the feelings we get from Kenyans. We've been into it before. We don't want to get in trouble again. So we want a process that public have confidence in. And I think that is what IEBC should be busy doing, not about trying to play politics. In fact, this Ezra, it's called Ezra, the CEO, and Chebukati, they are presenting themselves as incompetent officers. In fact, I don't understand. They should be busy trying to think of alternatives. In fact, they are telling Kenyans that they are not even competent to hold those kind of positions. They should be given confidence that it's not a problem. We are ready to do this in a different place. But the issue of insisting must be this. That is where the problem is. So it's not about Raila, it's about the people of Kenya.
Dr. Nyoro, your thoughts on this, and as to whether we've really given IEBC the time that they need to embark on this process?
I think first of all, from the information that we've been getting from the media, is that IEBC is not just sitting waiting for the ruling of the appeal. Yes, that is going to be necessary. It's not the only way that they've been concentrating on. I think we are aware that they've been carrying out the public participation. That was actually the key issue as far as throwing out the presidential ballot paper printing was concerned. So they've been carrying out that, and also they've asked for views on how to fast track it. I think that is going on. At the same time, I think it was necessary for them to appeal at this, and you can scale stairs and chew gum at the same time. What we should make very clear is let the court decision be made quite quickly, preferably within this week, so that they can know the options. Whether they are going to go for ROCO printing or whatever it is. But I think two things. One, it's very, very unfortunate that last week we were talking about Jubilee attacking the court for whatever decision that was made, and that courts should be left to make their own decisions. And this week we are saying if you print those ballot papers in Dubai, I will not accept the results, which presupposes or preempts the decision of the Supreme Court. Because if the Supreme Court comes in and say, yes, I think you held at the High Court, we allow Garea to go ahead and print, then somebody has already made a decision on that. So as far as, so that is one issue, that depending on how favorable a particular decision is, NASA has been going for it, and if it is not for their own benefit, then they come out and fight it back. The second issue that I want to raise on this is, I think we have not really given IEBC the support that they require. These are new commissioners. They came and, okay, there was secretariat that was working, but we know the limitations of having an executive without a board. But, instead of concentrating for 21 days to ensure that we have a credible and fair election and so on, we are moving them back and forth. So I think we as Kenyans must pause and say, we have to have this election. I think we have to agree. There is always some trade-offs on decisions that we are not going to make. It cannot be me winning every time. And then the country will be safe on 9th of August. Right.
And the question is, even as I come to you, Paul, whether anybody is listening to IEBC, which is the independent body mandated with doing this. So let me read what one of their judges, lawyers said while filing the appeal at the Court of Appeal. And he said, and I quote, "The learned judges erred, in fact, when they found that there is still time available for the appellant to procure election material without any factual basis and disregarding the professional assessment of the appellant, which in this case is the IEBC. In your thoughts, Paul, we've been speaking about what Jubilee wants, what NASA wants. Has anybody thought about the professional views being given by IEBC?
One, we should not just look at the commissioners themselves, because when we look at an institution, there are structures in place which must do the due diligence that is required for them to perform a function. And one, that must be correct, without commissioners or with them. The second thing is, politics is about perception. If people perceive that is not the right way, it is not transparent, it is not going to be fair. Whether the mode used is good, it is going to affect, because this is, politics is about perception. And if people are going to perceive that this is not the right thing, and there is some kind of underhands that are playing on this, so that some institution or some party can win, this really can bring a problem. Right. But when we talk also about the procurement process, there are various ways of using a procurement process. One, there could be direct, there could be also multiple choices of selecting a printing company. But I think the main issue is, do a majority of Kenyans feel that this is the right thing that IEBC is doing? The other thing is, IEBC has not also come forward in terms of saying, this is what we have laid down. And this is why we think our process is transparent and fair. They seem like they have been pushed by both sides, both the Jubilee and the NASA side. And they need to come firm and say, this is the process that you are going, it is above board, and it is going to be realistic. It is going to be transparent.
At the end of the day, the court process would interfere with that. Peter, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was saying, for record, I don't think Raila said that he will not accept results. He said he cannot participate in a process that is already pre-rigged. Pre-rigged in the sense that this is a process that is not clear, that was not subject to any public scrutiny and so forth. And therefore the issue is not even about accepting the result, it's about participating in a process that is already pre-rigged. And that's a strong feeling.
I think, I think IEBC have come out very clear. And what saddens me is that after we did the select committee, Michelle, and we agreed there's a committee, and that committee is there of both sides who sit down every time when IEBC do all these things. Every week we have members from the Jubilee side, we have members from the NASA side who have been sitting with IEBC in every decisions that we come up with. It is very sad when we come and then we again ourselves change, political leaders, because the whole process is not Kenyans. The whole process is being marketed by all political leaders, interfering and wanting to become, you want to become the procurement master, you want to become the referee, and in the end of the day, I believe you want to become the marker of the ballot paper to ensure in the 44,000 polling stations, if you are given strength, you can even mark them yourself, I think so. But the most important thing I need to ask myself, and these are deputies of governors, So then they are very comfortable. Is that what they are telling Kenyans? These are even the worst. This slot of governors will be the worst slot, even beyond the presidential ballot, as you see. They are going to fight. We are going to see them in court. Yet they are here very comfortably telling us, oh, as we are clear, Let me tell you, there are two serious ballot papers that we know are going to have issues. The governor, MCA.
Right.
Forget about the presidential. Governor, MCA. Because the competition is so stiff, and it is that you can see. I know in Machakos you can see them, and maybe in Kajiado, for Deputy Nyoro here they are okay. Them they had finished with their nominations, but it's going to be very, very. I can see in Western Gishu. So let us not assume it is only one ballot that has an issue. I think every slot, even us who are vying for MPs, we know there is a competition. Now it is up to us as aspirants, all of us, from our presidential candidates to down, to appreciate that it is a process where we have to support IEBC and see. The transparency is there. When you hear a politician saying, I have not seen the register, then I think you're not in Kenya. For the first time, that register is so open, and I'm telling IEBC, go and put in every stream, put on the wall.
I understand as it is that IEBC has already put it on their website,
yes.
The register.
Everyone can download it.
They will put it at every polling station.
Good. So you cannot blame them on a register that it has loopholes. There is no loophole. It is now up to every politician. Go to your polling station in your village. Go ask who is dead, who is alive. I
don't know if just get your thoughts on this, Peter. Do you think it's likely to bring a problem? The whole controversy of we want the rest of the ballots, the ballot papers printed by Al Gore, but not the presidential ballot papers. So what we have aggrieved gubernatorial candidates and deputy gubernatorial candidates like yourselves who feel the process was not free or fair because Al Gore printed those ballot papers.
You see, first and foremost, I don't want to agree. I want to disagree with my sister here when she says, even us, it's not about us. This issue is about Kenya, about Kenyans. It's not about an individual here. I'm sure she would not even be safer in Dagoretti where my good brother is, Arati. So what I'm saying here is, it's about public confidence, underlying that. And what we are saying is that people, the IEBC does not seem to be convincing Kenyans that they are doing these things above board. And that's what the problem is. Why can they simply say, fine, we don't want to get into this? Do you know something? In case of anything happening in this election, IEBC would bear to be blamed. Why can't you sort out the mess before you get into the mess? And that's what the problem is. Why is it that they want to politicize? And she seems to be confirmed that indeed anyone will be happy to go and even take the ballots. And that is actually what we are fearing. The Jubilee side, which Jubilee seem to have organized with the Dubai things. Maybe they have even already taken some ballot papers. Why can they get out of this?
Just to stop you there, Peter, before you continue, NASA was very happy with the court ruling, terminating the tender with Al Gore. But in that very same ruling, the court also stated, and I repeat, that it found no evidence of any connection between President Uhuru Kenyatta and the directors of the firm Al Gore. Why is it that it is one ruling, but you choose to pick one side of the ruling and not the entire ruling?
We are simply saying that there is we are not confident, we are not sure that this is interfered.
So you're not confident in the
you can look at that ruling, it's so diplomatic. In one sense they say, yes, we rule out this, they should actually go afresh and tender afresh. On that side they say there is no direct, so we are not sure. They don't even the courts are not even sure about it. So what we are saying is this, in other words, they are saying, go and look for another printer transparently. Why can they be able to do that?
I'll come to you, Dr. Nyoro, in just a moment.
I just want to correct something here. Because in court, whatever you want, whoever go and appeal for a certain issue, that is the only issue that will be addressed. And for this issue of printing, it was a presidential candidate who went, or somebody concerned with it, who went to appeal for, or went to court because of that. No person who was vying for governorship, nobody who was vying for MP went to the court. And the court will always decide on what has been presented, even if you have a total number of evidence on the other. But because you have not brought it to court, it will not be brought up. So, but the issue is, if I suspect my competitor has some kind of a connection with that, that suspicion itself will think, oh, because And the rumors are always confirmed by bringing evidence. And I think we cannot say, we can say now there was no evidence because the court have said, but we don't know what this counter appeal, the cross appeal has come. We don't know what it contains.
Right.
So we cannot really say there were no evidence. So because there is another cross appeal, we don't know what is the content. And something else could, other evidence could appear.
Right. And like he says, there is no evidence. And Dr. Nyuriban, as you continue, perception has already been created. That is a problem among the electorate. That perception has already been created. How do we move forward from there?
Well, you see, the problem is, yes, perception has been created, but it has been created for one lot of ballot papers, not for the 5 lots of ballot papers. So the question is, and this is what Beatrice was trying to raise here, the issue of governance is as important as the presidential. So really, if it is about the credibility or the suspicion and whatever, why give with one hand and then take with the other hand? So, and those are questions that are going to be discussed at the appeal stage. Because obviously, unless we go back to marking of 44,000 polling stations and whatever, unless NASA had other issues that were not coming out clearly in the case, which we know that they've been thinking that Jubilee will print excess ballot papers and they'll mark them and they'll win. Unless there was that, if we go by the case itself, that you allow all the 5 but only disallow 1, and you know very well that Jubilee has said, please go ahead. Even if NASA, you have a printing company, go ahead and print those ballot papers. Bring them to us, take them to polling stations, let's mark them. If you take that statement, in the literal meaning of it, it says, for us, go ahead, we want an election on 8th of August.
And of course, everybody wants a credible election. Are we out of time? So let's have your closing comments, because the question still remains, are we going to have an election? When will the ballot papers be printed? Elachi, in your thoughts, is there enough time to do this afresh?
Well, one of the things I would say, we have been in court 34 times, courtesy of NASA, on one issue, IEBC, this and this, 34 times. Maybe we'll be in court even on the 30th of July. They know better. But for me, I want to tell Kenyans, 8th of August, we must wake up, go, vote whoever you want. Kenya will remain one. It is not a foreigner who will rule you, it is a Kenyan. Whether it is the President Uhuru, whether it is Raila, whether it is Dr. Okut, whether it is Dida, it is a Kenyan in the end of the day who will rule our country. And the most important thing is, let us not preempt on IEBC. We don't know whether they'll change, so let us wait for the courts to decide, and IEBC will decide, and we will move on.
Peter?
I think I would say, and that is a problem of single sourcing. And that's why law is very important. If actually they are done rightly, IEBC, simply they would have gone to the second, whatever. But in this particular case, it was a single source thing, which is very unfortunate. But I can tell you this, the mood in the country is changed. It's changed. The mood in the country is changed, and I think Jubilee seems to have sensed danger, defeat. And the only platform they're getting is possible through rigging. And maybe that's why they're insisting on one particular printer, that if they don't get into this particular printer, they're not winning. And that's what the problem is.
Dr. Nyoro?
Yeah, it's very surprising what my friend says here. I think, let us make it very clear. This country will be there after 8th. And it is for all of us to make sure that the election on 8th succeeds. Last week I said, even if we were to lock IEBC, the court and whatever in one room, and tell them, please, even if it means cutting the exercise book, and like the presidential candidates, and somebody come and take, please, let's go ahead. I am confident, and I listened to the IEBC commissioner who was on air last night explaining that you don't have to worry, we will have a credible election. But we want to appeal to NASA, because we know after this, just like Beatrice has said, they will go to court on another issue. This week they are going to come up with another thing. We want to appeal to them that this country is important for us. It is important after 8th. Let us all work together to ensure that we maintain the peace.
Right. Paul?
I think the issue of election on 8th of August, I think that is all Kenyans are looking towards that. Nobody is really afraid of election. But what we are looking here is, there must be a right way to do the right things at the right time. And there is sufficient time for IEBC to do the printing and to source for who is going to do that job. So we should not be worried about that.
Right.
What we should be worried is, IEBC, are you able to do that and do it the quickest time possible? Because everybody is ready for election, and August 8th is, let me say 9th, because that is when the results are going to start flowing in. We are ready to get any one of the presidents who are looking for the presidential as a presidential candidate. But let us not blame one another. Let us make sure that the process is right, so that everybody can believe it, everybody can accept it, and then we can have a peaceful country after 8th
Over, absolutely. Well, that is a good point to end this conversation. That is Paul Ntiati, who is a candidate for the Kajiado deputy gubernatorial seat. I've also been speaking to Beatrice Elachi, who is a nominated senator, Peter Mathuki, who is the running mate to the Machakos gubernatorial candidate for Vinya Ndeti, and last but not least, Dr. James Nyoro, who is the running mate to Kiambu gubernatorial candidate Ferdinand Waititu. And that conversation brings us to a close on The Way It Is here in Morning Express, and we take a short break now, but we also say goodbye to those watching us on our